What's up, everybody? This is your boy Radtalks here on the Radtalks, and I got my special guest, Rene Gonzales. Bro, what is up, man? How you been?
Been good, bro. Doing great. Super happy to be here.
Awesome, man. I'm excited to have you today, man. Hey, how'd you do out there in that heat today?
We got warm, bro. It's getting warmer, but I think we're gonna get a little bit of better weather the rest of the week. So I'm looking forward to maybe this Friday hanging out with the family, going outside. But it's gonna get hot. San Antonio.
Yeah, I think that this time, man, I'm missing right now the snowstorm that we had here in San Antonio, bro.
I don't miss that. I'm gonna tell you why. No power. It was cold and it was nice the first like day or two.
Yeah.
After that, I was like, okay, I wanna get back to doing what I normally do, and I couldn't.
Yeah.
I remember the first time it started snowing, I was going crazy outside with my kids. It was late. We're doing snow angels on the street, like crazy, bro. And then by the time, like again, the second, third day, I was like, I want to go home. I had to go to my parents and stay there with my family because of the power outages and whatnot. Mm-hmm. I'm sure a lot of people that are watching or eventually watch this will relate from San Antonio or Texas in general. Mm-hmm. But it was beautiful, man. The snow was beautiful, but I don't miss what happened during the week.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. Oh, man, it was beautiful, right? The snow came down. It felt great. We all went out there and we were taking pictures, and then like, it was good the first day, like you said. Then it was just like, okay, second day, okay, it's cool. And something different. Then it was like, man, we're running out of food. We got to go groceries. And it was just like, you tried to go to the groceries and like, bro, you couldn't even get in anywhere. Yeah. It was some hard times just to get food, bro.
So you guys didn't lose power?
No.
That's good.
Thank you, Jesus. We didn't lose no power.
That's awesome.
We had, food. I had to stand in line, one day for like an hour and a half with my brother, but no big deal, but I was just like, man, it is what it is, let's just have fun, snowball, everything, man.
Yeah. We enjoyed it, man. My family and I enjoyed it. We made it, we turned it into an adventure.
Yeah.
But again, it was like after about the fourth, fifth day, I was like, okay, I'm ready to get back into the routine of things. But we enjoyed it, bro. The snowstorm of 2021.
Nice. Yes. So for our online viewers that are watching, just give us a little brief summary about who you are so that way we can know who Rene Gonzales is.
For sure, man. So my parents are from Mexico, and they came to the United States to pastor. Wow. Church brought them over here, and born here in San Antonio, San Antonio, Texas, born and raised, man. Super proud of that.
Nice.
Avid, huge Spurs fan, obviously.
What part of Mexico did they go?
My dad is from the area of Toluca.
Okay.
And my mom is from the town. It's on the border called Reynosa.
Reynosa, okay,
Reynosa.
Nice.
So, and they met in that area. My dad moved to the border, so they met there. And my mom was the one who actually was saved, and my dad met her. He was interested, and she said, "If you're interested, you got to come to church." Wow. So very few times does that work, but in this case, it worked. And my dad's actually been pastoring for about maybe 27, 28 years, close to hitting 30. So. Man, born and raised here. I have an older brother, Henry, musical prodigy. Got a younger brother, Nestor, who is just a bright young man. Right now I'm married. I married a beautiful, beautiful woman that was completely out of my league. Her name's Amanda. Completely out of my league. I hit a grand slam on that one, and that was all God, because it was not me. I can tell you that right now. And I got 2 kids. My oldest is Camila. She is 6 years old. And my son, Christian, who is 4. Oh, okay. So, man, here serving, pastoring with my dad. Nice. And doing worship and music.
Nice. Have you ever gone back to Mexico or visit or anything like that?
Absolutely. I love it, man. When I was about 21, I want to say, 22, I actually went to live in Monterrey for a couple of months. Oh, wow. I just wanted a different experience, man. I was in school. I was I think I was at UTSA at the time, and I was bored. I don't know. It felt like I hadn't really, done anything outside of my comfort zone. Okay. And so I told my parents, I'm gonna go live for a couple of months in Mexico. I actually came to I went to a church, had this program for a few months. And it was like some training, leadership training, and so that's what I decided to do. I went out there, lived there. I absolutely loved it.
Nice.
And we normally go about once a year.
Okay.
You know, we don't go as often as we used to, but we
Right.
do visit frequently, and we love it. Mexico City is beautiful. We don't necessarily go a lot to we don't stay like in the border cities. We tend to go more to Monterrey or Mexico City. Yeah.
Oh, okay. You know, I've always wanted to go, bro. I've never been though. You know what? I take it back. I actually been to Reynosa.
Okay.
We actually have a missionary team that goes there every year.
Yeah.
Do you know who Pastor George Misanet is? Maybe.
I don't.
Okay, he has a church there named Oasis. Forgive me, Pastor. It's Oasis something, and we have our a missionary team that we've gone out there
Nice.
and we'll, you know, I went in high school as a teenager.
Yeah.
And was able to experience, you know, the life and the culture, and that was different.
Yeah.
Different experience for sure.
Was it the Homes for Homeless program or no?
No.
Because I did a program like that with some pastors from in town at the church. You ever heard of Destiny Church here in San Antonio?
Yeah, definitely.
Pastor Bell was there. I think his son is pastoring there now. But we did a program with them and we went to Reynosa and built some homes and stuff like that. But I was wondering if maybe that was where you
no, it was just it wasn't like a big thing. It was just like we knew the pastor, and
Gotcha.
we just, hey, we're gonna go to where they're at and build homes for people who didn't have homes.
Yeah.
We went with construction stuff, and we
Nice.
went up there and we built, and we were there for like maybe about 3 weeks, man. And we gave out clothes, and
Wow.
just that was a life-changing experience, bro.
Absolutely.
Because you take for granted everything that you have here.
Yeah.
And to see them, what they have, to see our people,
Yeah.
to see what they have and how they operate
Yeah.
day in and day out, bro. And a lot of them have smiles and they live
Yeah.
life, man. And I was going crazy, freaking. I was hitting my like gnats and bugs, and
Yeah.
I'm like, it's just torture, Dad. And he's mad at me. He's sending me away. But it was a real experience because it really, you know, taught me the true value of, you know, appreciating just the small, finer things in life. And you know, I hope to one day go back again and, you know, just to see it. But
well, you're already preaching to me, bro. I mean, what you're saying, like, honestly, they don't know what poverty is, right? Happiness isn't in materialistic things, right? It's not in anything other than you just being and deciding to be happy. You go there, you know, it's across the border. You could throw a rock and reach the city on the other side, and you kind of start to see everything that they lack that we have, and still, like you said, there's a smile on their faces.
Yeah.
Bro, these people weren't even quote unquote saved, and we did like services outside on dirt, bro. On dirt. We just put up like a platform and put music out there. We took like a DJ or something, and we did some worship as well, and there was a word, and these people, they probably did not understand a lot, but they were like worshiping, and they were, you know, just completely bought into the word, and there was people dancing on the dirt, like straight up. Back then it was breakdancing. I don't think anybody remembers anything about breakdancing.
B-boy,
I
bro.
used to try. I'm not gonna lie. The best thing I could do was like a windmill. That's about it, bro. I couldn't do anything else. But they were happy, like you said. Being happy wasn't like, it wasn't people that were lacking joy, right? And here in the States, you have people that have cars, have houses, have jobs, aren't lacking much, but they're lacking joy and they're lacking happiness.
And we've become so materialistic though. Because I honestly, I can say, I'm not going to lie, there's times I get frustrated, and I'm like, I could be like, I'm in line at Bill Miller's or at Starbucks trying to get my coffee. There's 4 people in front of me. They take forever. I'm mad. And then you just don't take, like, man, like, we have an amazing opportunity just to get coffee. Stand in line, get a coffee and wait. But we're so impatient. I want everything now. We've become so impatient. And it's just so many angry people out there now, man. It's just like you can't go nowhere without anyone telling you something. Where's your mask? And are you essential? Or what's going on? And it's just like all these issues. And it's like, man, like, you know, I think we need to just get back just to the simpler times, the basic stuff where as kids, I'm sure you remember growing up, just go in the backyard and playing some mud, and you were good.
Absolutely.
You know, and like my kids now, I can't even take them to Chick-fil-A or somewhere without them wanting my phone.
Yeah,
wanting
iPads,
bro, watching a movie. I'm like, what? Like, why do we have to watch Elsa? You know, like, I don't want to watch Elsa on the way to McDonald's or whatever it is. And, you know, it's just it's obviously just a different generation, which is fine, but I think we still have to, you know, put those principles of
definitely
the peace and happiness again.
For some reason, I thought about that meme where they say, hey, if you grew up drinking out of this and it's the water hose, right?
The
manguera. Yeah, I was going to say manguera, but the water hose, it's like you don't got to worry about COVID-19, bro. You're good. So yeah, different generation, man. We got to put everything in like a nice little cup, and it needs to have like my kids love these juices that are like $4. Oh. The juice is like 5 ounces of the juice
with the little character on
with
it?
the character on top, and it's just like
it's not even that good of a juice, and then it takes like 15 minutes to open it. Man. So how is it pastoring? You're pastoring now. You've been doing that. I remember not too long, a couple of years back when you were helping us. You had mentioned it to me. You were gonna take that, go into it, and here you are doing it, man.
Yeah, bro.
Happy for you, bro.
Man, honestly, it is an absolutely different field for me, right? I've been leading worship for a long time. I started, I think, around 18, 19 years old, leading worship without wanting to, might I add. I was a drummer, and I was perfectly comfortable behind the drums and just, playing music, checking the card in, boom, I drum, check, punch card out, right, punching out. But, I got moved into leading worship, and then, about 2 years ago, my dad and I started talking, and we just felt like there was, God was kind of pulling on me into that area. And so in 2019, in September, we had the inauguration of our building, and I was, brought into pastoring. I was installed as pastor, of the church. My dad continuing to be the senior pastor of the church, but it was a absolutely brand new chapter for me in my life. I've learned a lot just watching my dad. A lot of times you don't realize how much you're learning just being next to someone. But it's a year and a half at this point, going to 2 years, and I'm learning, man, and I'm loving it. I'm loving it because I love people. I love it because I love people. I love working with people. I love getting to know them. It's something that I'm growing in, and it's so weird because with worship, and I'm just kind of, I talk, bro.
Go for
all right,
it, bro.
You brought me here. I'm going to talk. With worship, it's kind of second nature at this point. You can put me pretty much, anywhere. And if you say, hey, I want you to do this, that's kind of, boom, I got you. Yeah, absolutely. When it comes to pastoring, it's like, hey, you're going to be speaking these and these dates. I'm like, all right, cool. Like, I need to like prep. And that's just where I'm at right now. And I'm comfortable saying that just because I understand that, we're growing, right? Yeah. Little by little, we're gaining understanding, wisdom, and but I love it, man. I learn every single day. When it comes to pastoring, I learn every single day because I got 2 kids.
What days are you? Do you have like Wednesdays or Sundays, or what days do you?
We have Thursday night. We just came back to doing in-person services. For Thursdays. We do Thursdays 7:30, and then we do Sundays at 2:00 right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Nice. Yeah. So I'm sure the preparation's tough having the kids, huh?
Yeah. A little bit. It's in Spanish, by the way.
Okay.
Our church is a predominantly Spanish church, and so that's another thing. My Spanish, it needs to get better. It's good, right?
Bro, my Spanish is the worst, bro.
I know, mine's pretty good.
I'm just like carne guisada with cheese. We good?
Right. And you got to say with cheese in English?
Con queso?
There you go.
Tex-Mex, you got to mix it up, okay, from other people.
Yeah.
But can I have a carne guisada con queso, por favor?
Yeah, okay, that sounds pretty good.
Good?
Yeah.
Yeah, but, that's all. I'm just like, I've been wanting to learn Spanish, bro. Like, and I've been telling even my wife, I'm like, man, I want to learn Spanish. Like, I want to learn it so that way it's our heritage, man.
Absolutely.
It's what our ancestors spoke for years and generations and generations, and how unfair would it be, and for me to be so selfish to not learn it and to not pass it on. It's something that should be passed on because I want my kids to be able to go to school and be able to speak it, and because that's who we are. And but I'm learning. Maybe you could like teach me some stuff.
I'll teach
you.
Be
my tutor,
bro. I can teach you something. I'm not going to teach you any bad words, bro. I don't. That's the first thing people want to learn for some reason, bro. I expect more from you as a pastor. All right, I'm just letting you know, man. No bad words. I'm not going there.
I think I know them
off
already.
the bat, people are like, hey, how do you say this? I'm like, come on, man. I can't teach you that.
Can't teach you that right now.
I can't teach you that, bro.
Let's step out the building.
Find me on 1604 during traffic hour. You might learn it from me.
Yeah, you'll learn a little bit.
I'm joking. Right. But man, there was something else that you said, and I kind of wanted to touch on. I went blank on, but pastoring, man, just kind of getting back to that. I'm learning a lot, man, and it's just the beautiful thing about starting off somewhere is that you can literally learn from everyone and everything, and that's kind of where I find myself right now. My wife stepped into that role as well, and I've learned so much from my wife. You know, like I've learned a lot from her as well. She's been a big reason why there's been growth in that area as well, but it's exciting, man. And so, you know, I took you know the end of 2019 and then 2020 to kind of just try to really grow in that area, in pastoring, in that calling and that responsibility.
Right.
And interestingly enough, 2020 comes around, and I don't even want to talk about it really, but COVID-19 hits, and it's just like I'm learning, right? And as I go, and man, 2020 turned into just kind of like I needed to grow at a much faster rate because, you know, ministry demanded that.
Yeah. Wow. And how did you guys did it with church? Like it was just a completely shut down? And
check this out. So we started doing the drive-in church. And so self-explanatory, right? We started having services outside of our building, and we would literally just pull speakers out, right? Some sound system out, some keys, a guitar, and we do worship and go to the Word. And you know, there wasn't a fear. I don't want to lie here. We weren't fearful that people wouldn't show or people wouldn't be there, or you know, and stuff like that. There wasn't a fear. But there was like sometimes it tends to creep in, like the doubt, like, but you know, it's not the same. It's not going to be like in your platform with the lights and the great sound and the scenes on the screen and et cetera, et cetera. But bro, there was something so organic about what happened during those drive-in church services, and we just saw an increase in faith. We saw an increase in people. Just they were showing up. Our parking lot was packed, and so we did that for months. We have services still on our Facebook where, you know, we obviously we went live and we kept them on there. You can see our services where we're at drive-in church, and we just saw the hand of God. Like we saw Him, you know, remind us, hey, the church has nothing to do with, you know, the building, the lights, and it's. I love it. I'm very much for that. Right. I'm very much for setting, you know, for a production. I'm all about that, but just for a moment, that was stripped away, and the essence of what we are, we were able to capture that, you know, during that season. Yeah. And the people were loving it, man. It was beautiful.
Do you feel that during COVID, do you feel like maybe you grew as a person? Because and I ask that because I feel that I grew as a person in all these type of ways, because COVID hit, we didn't know how to respond. So we had to learn something. We had to learn new strategies, new ideas, and new techniques to reach the people, and just, you know, what can we do better and how can we do it better? Do you feel that maybe you guys learned from it? Like,
absolutely.
Like y'all are like, Lord, I'm not saying another COVID may hit, but like I feel like if another shutdown wherever to take place, I feel we are ready to go. And I'm sure you guys are. Like, y'all learned a whole bunch, and y'all are locked, ready to go.
Yeah, if you didn't learn during COVID, you missed a huge opportunity to grow.
And as crazy as this sounds, bro, there's so many people who started, like, videos and podcasting and all this kinds of stuff. And the way I saw it is like, man, like you said, if you didn't use this time to grow, you missed it, bro. Because this was the perfect time to grow in any which way possible. And I just see so many people who grew from it, who are doing things now, who are intelligent, who are tech savvy, and it's all this stuff. And I'm like, my goodness,
bro! Crisis gives the opportunity to birth gifts and activate gifts. That's what it is. We went through this moment, and it was no longer optional. We had to birth what we were carrying. So many of us, myself included, and it was like. We got to this point, and that tension, right? Where like there's chaos that's surrounding us. It caused so many of us to just say yes to God, and that's why I'm here right now, and that's why you're here right now with Radtalks and so many other pastors that I know of that started, like you said, doing podcasts, going live, taking moments, not only preaching on a Sunday on a platform, but taking 5 minutes, 10 minutes on their Facebook and just, I'm going to preach. Yeah. I got a word. I've got to get out. And they started doing it, man, and it was birthed because in the midst of crisis, God will birth that out of people or activate it, in people. I was actually driving over here and I started thinking about, for some reason, I don't think a lot about COVID, man. I don't allow that to take up space in my mind. It's obviously something we need to be conscious about and whatnot, but it doesn't take territory in my mind. But what I'm trying to say is, I was thinking about Joseph, right? And this situation, Joseph in the Bible, and I was thinking about this situation with COVID. Interestingly enough, when Joseph was ready, right, with what was within him. When the famine was coming, right? The famine was going to happen. Everything up to that point was happening for that moment when famine hit. And the interesting thing is, famine comes, and Joseph still was able to find success with his calling, with what he was carrying, guiding the people, saying, "Hey, this is what we need to do during the famine." Right. And they were successful. And so the church is, in my eyes, was successful during the pandemic, and we're still kind of going through some of these things, but we've been successful. Why? Because we've stepped outside of our comfort zone. We've said yes, like we allowed it to. We birthed that gift, that tug that we had to do these things, man. I honestly believe, I'm not sure if you'd be doing this if not for, or a lot of people doing what you're doing now, if not for COVID, because it forced us to think outside the box. How can I get the message out? How can I still stay connected to the people? How can we continue to preach the gospel of Jesus Christ? Now, I know this isn't necessarily like a church service, but still, even in communicating right now, you and I, we're talking about Jesus. We're talking about ministry. We're talking about the gospel. But anyway, back to that. Did I learn? Absolutely. I learned to just say yes. To say yes to God, to accept the challenge, to step outside of my comfort zone, to step up. We had to step up. The church had to step up. Church leaders had to step up.
Yeah, we definitely did, and it was just like, you had to learn. You had to make it happen. I think people doing that is something great, because it shows people, like, it's just not, like we were talking earlier, it's just not just about this religion. It's not you have to be perfect. You have to have a suit on. Like, you can still push the gospel, or show people this is the gospel, not on like this big platform. Like, you can start a podcast, you can just do something simple, and those are the people that God wants to use. You know what I mean? People who, God's not looking for the righteous people. God's not looking for this holy people. God wants to use people like you and I. You know what I mean? And for those people who are doing it, man, hats off to them, people who have stepped up and are doing this, because the gospel has to continue. The gospel has to continue. I mean, look at little Nas X with his shoes. Look at the noise he caused with that. You know what I mean? Like, we have to continue, keep pressing into God. Keep showing the world that, hey, there's a God who loves us. And that's why I do this. And like you mentioned earlier, like, for the love of people. Yeah, absolutely. There's so many people who are broken or hurt who needs to hear Jesus. They've gone through some bad situations as kids, as adults. But we have to show them that just because you went through it doesn't mean you have to be truly affected by it, because there's a God who can love you. There's a God who can restore you. Absolutely. And I just don't like when people just want it to be like this about themselves and not really God. Like, they want the title, they want the stuff, but not wanting to do the work. Like you says, it's for the people. It's just not, I love people, man. I want to make people, but you could have also said, I want to be a pastor, and that's it. I want the title, and I don't want to put the work in, but you want to put the work in. And that's what's needed. People who want to put the work in without the title. Like, like, it's not the title. Like, the title doesn't, you can have it, but what good is it if you're not reaching out to the people and helping them, transforming them through Jesus Christ?
On the super cool, man, not a lot of my responsibilities and functions, in Spanish it's funciones, so I thought of the word functions. I don't know if it applies, but not a lot of my responsibilities and functions changed since I was installed as pastor.
Okay.
I was already doing what I was doing. I didn't, and you can ask my wife or anybody, I was never looking for the title. It's just I was already operating in that. And so it was almost more, man, I'm losing the word. I wish I had it. It's in the tip of my tongue. But, it was not like a formality, but it was almost like when you're called to do something, you're not waiting for someone to acknowledge that.
Yeah.
You're doing it. If you love people, you're loving people. If you carry a word, you're preaching outside on your social media platform, on the side of the street. If you got a word, you're going to say it.
Yeah.
And so I felt like 2019 for me, that moment was more of like, my father, my spiritual father, who happens to be my biological father, but he's still my spiritual father, seeing in me what I felt had been there for a long time. And I never voiced that to him. I never said anything, but he just said, hey, that's there. I'm acknowledging it. I'm just kind of putting my stamp of approval behind that.
Right.
And not much has changed since. I'm doing the same things. I'm working with people. I'm growing. I'm again, just doing whatever and anything the house needs within the church. But I just wanted to say that because of what you're saying. There's a I don't want to say a shift. That's so churchy.
Yeah.
That's so churchy. But there is a
Such a
shift.
PK word.
Yeah. It is a shift in the way of thinking, in the way, I remember talking to people and their goals as pastors was I want a mega church. And I want, and I don't even know if I want to get into this, but I'm not bashing anybody, but it's just kind of like, it was like a paradigm shift. Like we really truly we're in this for the right reasons. The people.
Yeah.
Right. And I love that. And we were talking about this off camera. And I don't know if we can say it as well as we were, because we were just kind of like chatting back and forth, and the message was there. But I love things like this because podcasts or live sessions or whatnot, they become an extension of the church to the people, and even if they're not necessarily Christian podcasts or whatnot, but people that are behind these podcasts and interviews, it becomes a bridge to people that would never step into a church. They wouldn't. Maybe they've been through some church hurt. Maybe they've, whatever it may be. We create a way to reach the people that would never step foot. And in the past, it's kind of like, well, if you want to get saved, you got to come to church. Yeah. And now we're creating so many different ways to get the gospel to people. And
that's what I try to do with Radtalks. It's bridging the gap between the religion and those who don't come to church.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times people say like, oh man, I can't go to church because I got tattoos and I used to be like this. And it's like, hey man, come as you are.
Yeah.
We don't care. Like, it's not about what you've done, where you've been, man. There's just come as you are.
Yeah.
And I think people just have that misconception about that. And some churches do carry that standard, and it's unfortunate because they do push people away.
Yeah.
They do, like, oh, I can't serve because, whatever reason. Of course, there are standards, and of course, there's things you have to do, but we never want to get to the point where we have to shoo people away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what, and that's what I'm trying to do with the Radtalks, like just showing people, hey, there's different people who have different lives, who have families, who are married, who are, who are doing 10 jobs at once, trying to get it all going. Stressful, they're mad. Catch them on 604 by Bill Miller's. Look at me wrong, I'm going to park over and be like, dude, what, bro? Like, you know what I mean? We're just as human, man. And that's what people need to know. Like, like coming to God is not coming with perfection. Yeah. It's coming with your imperfection.
Absolutely.
God's not looking for a perfect church. He's looking for the imperfect, because it's because God will get the glory by restoring those who are broken, those who are lost. God gets the glory. So God's not looking for the right. The Bible, when they said Jesus never left the 99, like he left the 99 for the one lost. So he wasn't looking for the righteous people.
Yeah.
He was looking for the one lost.
Yeah.
I mean, it made sense to keep the 99 and lose the one. I mean, what would Jesus have to losing the one?
Yeah.
He said, no, I don't need those who are got it together, who show up with their suits and their ties and their nice combed hair. I'm looking for those who have some torn jeans, who got some torn issues in their life. Those are the people that I want. And I think like sessions like this are going to be helpful for people, because people need to hear that. Yeah. People need to know that, you know what, despite of your background, God loves you. Look at Moses.
Absolutely.
a murderer.
Yeah.
And God says, hey, you just murdered somebody, guess what? I'm going to use you.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I'm trying to do. And I think a lot of people, and you're doing it within your own church, bridging that gap, bringing people in. And I think that's so important, man. And I just don't understand why people hold standards to people who are coming in.
What I love about what you just said, two things that I love about your church and my church. And because I've been to your church a few times, I've ministered here, and you will have the guy who does wear his suit on a Sunday, just like you'll have the guy who wears a T-shirt, jeans, and a hat. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like they feel welcome. There's no like, hey, this is the profile we're targeting or the But and the reason why I say that, and we were talking about the pastoring thing, right? Just to get back to that, because what you're talking about, like that we're not the only thing that makes me any different than the people that me as a pastor and the people that I'm pastoring. And we were talking about this, if I can even say this as a difference, but it's just the fact that in my trajectory, in my journey with Jesus, I've said yes to him time and time again. I have weaknesses. I have moments where I lose. I mean, I don't know how else to say that. Where I have struggles. I have 2 kids, and that I have moments where I'm stressing. Yeah. I have times where I stress at work. There's times where I need God to intervene in my marriage. There is, and I say this because in the past it was almost like there was a divide between the man of God and then the people who came to church. Right. And now it's just kind of like, no, like we're walking the same journey to Jesus Christ. Yeah. I'm just saying yes, maybe a little more often than other folks, right? And there's nothing wrong with that at all whatsoever. But the point is, man, I'm here to serve. I'm here to love. Yeah. I'm here to tell you and encourage you. I'm also here to bring you, some truth, right? And help you in areas that need growth. But the point is that as a pastor, one of my goals is to get, and it's a very simple way of kind of thinking, I just want to get my people to say yes more often to God. Yeah. Obedience to God is a step forward all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's in the obedience. It's like when Jesus told the 10 lepers to go see the priest. It wasn't, Jesus could have healed them. Yeah. But he says it's through your obedience. That's good. And as they went, the Bible says they received and one came back. And we don't know about the others, but Jesus said it's through your obedience that I want to see if you're going to be faithful to me through obedience. Yeah. And most times people don't want to obey because it's too much work. It's, you want me to go to church to receive my miracle? You want me to wake up and read my Bible to receive my miracle? And we felt because we don't want to obey because we're too selfish. We want to do our own ways. We like God to do microwave blessings, like it's just not Burger King and you can just have it your ways and hold the pickles and whatnot. God's like, no, it's not your will, it's my will that needs to be done. And in order to get to there, you have to be willing to walk in obedience and in faith and whatever it may be. And like you said, it's not that I'm better than you. It's just that I said yes in areas that maybe you said no at. Yeah. And that's maybe the difference. And I'm humbled about it. Yeah. I don't do this out of a self-righteous act. I do this because of God and all that he's done for me. Yeah. And sometimes people have the wrong intentions. They want to be lifted by their actions. Yeah. And God's like, I don't want you to be lifted up. Like, what good is it to gain the world, but yet still you lose your soul? Yeah. You're going all about it with the wrong intentions. I need a heart that's pure out of love. I don't need something that's prideful because if you remember who was prideful and got kicked out of heaven, I mean, that's the same thing that could happen for you. You know what I mean? And I think, like you said, just in obedience and saying yes. Yeah. And it's not that you're better. It's just that you're willing to say yes when other people are saying no. Yeah. And I think that's where it really rests, man.
Let me just add this, and then we can talk about something else. I love what we're touching on, but the first yes I think any pastor needs to give God is yes to pastoring their family, to being fully dedicated to their family. That's the first church. Yeah. That's your ministry. And I say that because of this, bro. I don't know how you grew up, but where in our family, it was like the church became first. It's like, no, it's church first, and then everything else. Yeah. And And anyway, there's a shift coming to that, and that's important. That's very important because we saw a lot of like families fall apart. Again, our families go through the same thing other families go through.
Yeah, for sure.
The exact same thing, you know. We just, you know, luckily we were maybe a bit more conscious of what the answer is to these, you know, to these situations. We know who to anchor ourselves to, which is God. Very simple, right? But that's one of the yeses, bro, that I feel like we need more of, especially with this younger pastors that are coming up. I love that there's so many young, people that are saying yes to pastoring. I love it, man. It's encouraging, right, to see. And again, I'm learning from people. And I just, man, it's one of those things that God's been putting in my heart. Like, hey, make sure your family's good. Like, make sure you're good there. And then, you know, go ahead and do whatever you got to do. But bro, last night, this is so random. I might have gone left on you, but this is why. While you were talking, man, I started thinking about last night, and we were praying at my house. Started praying for my kids. I literally grabbed some anointing oil. We're getting churchy here now. This Radtalks got churchy, bro. I'm sorry.
Radtalk with a little bit of anointing.
Yes. We pulled out
a little bit of oil.
Some oil, man, some anointing oil, and anointed my kids, and we had some background music. And bro, I'm not lying to you. My daughter Camila, 6 years old for the first time, and she might have experienced it in other times, but there was a physical reaction, right? She started crying in the moment, and she would not like someone spanked her crying, but like she was in God's presence, man. There was an atmosphere in that room, and she was just kind of like tears running down. My wife and I teared up seeing that. Wow. And it was just, again, I have to make sure my kids are ministered to, and my wife is ministered, and I'm ministered to, because my wife ministers to me. Like, I need to make sure this is happening. Yeah, this is the core. This is it right here. And then, man, I can go and step on any platform, say whatever I got to say.
Man, that's awesome, bro. Because you have to build your family with you, man. Because that's the people who are going to go with you on this journey. Yeah. Those are the people who are going to be your backbone, your foundation, and what good is it to leave your kids money, but yet still be broken and lost and don't know about Jesus? Yeah. Like, what legacy is that? Like, the legacy that a man has on their family is greater than taking them to McDonald's, when they do good. Yeah. It's showing them the gospel, showing them what Christ does, and showing them what's wrong and what's right, and that God comes first. That God comes first in your life, and like my kids, they know automatically, bro. Come Sunday, no questions asked, church. Yeah, we just it's like we just no questions asked. Wednesdays and Sundays, church. Tuesday, of course, we come in between, but those are the lock days that we know. Sundays, like that's where we need to go. And recently they got some Bibles. One of the guys from the church, he gave a handout to a whole bunch of the kids some Bibles. So they came out of there all excited with their Bibles. And they have some, but they just gave them some more. And they were so excited, man. Dad, I got a Bible. We're going to read it. And I'm like, yes, that's awesome. But that was such a blessing, because as a parent, you come to church and you do all this stuff. You do all this work. And I don't know about you. Like on Sundays for us, it's crazy. Yeah. From when I wake up to pray, to preach, and to get here, and all that stuff, by the time we leave, it's chaotic. Yeah. So sometimes it's kind of hard to really look at the kids and make sure everything's good. But when they came back, they're like, with Bibles, they're like, man, we can't wait to read it, Dad. My daughters are like, look, Dad, she had a pink Bible, and it was just awesome. It was just good to know that they were excited that they got Bibles. Yeah, they weren't comic books; they're just regular Bibles, New and Old Testament together, nothing fancy. They didn't have no pictures on it, but they knew it as a Bible, and they related it to God. Yeah. And they were like, man, I got a Bible, now I can, I'm going to read it, and God, all this stuff. I was like, man, and as a parent, you can look back and be like, man, sometimes you just don't know if your kids are being affected in ministry in a good way or a bad way. Yeah. But then, that was just a blessing just to know, my kids are receiving, they are learning. But like you said, the first ministry is the home, the family, and I think a lot of people miss that. And I know for us, when we came up, I mean, of course, we had loving parents that loved us, but the church is what we stay connected at, and it's like we learned. Like me and my brother, we had to learn how to play drums, how to play guitar, and how to usher, and how to do security, and all this stuff. All this, man, we just had to learn it. And of course, we were here and we learned it and all that stuff. But could we have done more as a vacation more? Of course. And it's not to knock him down or nothing.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's just, it was what it is. It is what it is. Like, his life was like, hey, this is what we're going to do. And I loved it, man. I've seen my dad on this scaffold up there, man, almost dropping a sheetrock, but caught it, could have fell. But he says, nope, son, you know how much this sheetrock costs? You know what we're doing? And so he didn't, you know, so I've seen the blood, sweat, and tears that my father put in this. And that's something that I can never repay him for, because he taught me something that going to Disney World couldn't.
Yeah.
Going to we always joke about like going on vacations, and we're always saying like, yeah, we're gonna go to Espada Park or like to Castroville, man. Right. Those are like our inside jokes.
The staycation.
Yeah, the staycations.
Yeah, the staycation.
You know, what he taught me through here was something far greater than Disney World could have taught me, and it's the very principles that I live my life by.
That's good.
And my kids are we going to church? Are we going there? And but yes, you know, I think at the same time we have to still commit to them and love them and take them on Disney trips and take them to Buc-ee's and go take them for those $5 apple juices that we don't even like.
I know. Yeah. No, I agree, man. I love what you're saying. You know, that definitely the love for the house of God in our parents' generation. It's there for people like you and I. You know, we whatever it takes, man. Whatever it takes. And just quickly, super random. I'm a random guy. Like, I'll have a thought, and I think of things. I just, like, and I know you'll do it, but I want to just shout out, like, the people that make a lot of things happen behind the scenes for the church. You know, I have a team that at our church that you know, is constantly making things happen, bro. And you know, one thing, you and I are pastors, or you know, and our fathers are the senior pastors of the church. But these people are just faithful. You know, people, volunteers. I don't even want to say volunteers, because some of these guys are professionals, really, real talk. But they volunteer at church. You know, they volunteer at church and part of our core. And I just want to shout them out, man, because they make things happen. You know, back in the day, the reason why I'm saying this is because back in the day, like you were saying, your dad's up there hustling and working. Now, my dad sometimes still does that, right? He'll still do that, just because that's the way that old generation is. They'll show up with like the whatever, bro, like their tools and everything. They're ready to go, bro. Well, what do we got to do with church, you know? But we have a team that really helps in that area. And I just quickly wanted to shout them out, man. I was thinking before Easter, I posted on Facebook that we don't thank our volunteers enough, because they are such a big part of the success of what we do on Sunday. People come and see what happens on Sunday. They're like, what a great service, and don't realize some of these people put in, you know, 20, 30 hours after working 40, 50 hours in their job. At their job sites or whatnot. They come and they put the time in. And so, bro, I'm glad that we're in that level as a church where people jump in and help us get it done.
So quick shout out to David and my wife then for coming through and helping us.
I saw them hustling, bro, right now, right before.
Yeah, you saw before, man. And you're right, you know, the volunteers do make it happen. That, you know, this mic, I can yell all I want, but unless David doesn't turn it on, they won't be able to hear me.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So it's like everyone has a part in life, and everybody plays a part. And once you have that team, man, it's important to take care of them and to acknowledge them and show them the love, because they're really the people who are making you look good. Yeah. You know, I mean, as much as I'm not trying to say, but as
it's true.
I mean, you can come up here and preach a good sermon, but if you didn't have a good band or some good greeters or good ushers, they're going to be like, well, you know what I mean? That's how people are, man. And, you know, and I think, even today, man, in this society, people fail to acknowledge others and showing love and respect towards people, man. Everyone's so give me. My dad says this, people are like yo-yos. They're puro yo. That's all they're about.
I'm going to use that.
Okay. you can use it. $5.
Yeah. I'm going to pay a fee every time I use it,
But you know, that's how people are, man, unfortunately. And I'm a very giving person, bro. I'm a giving person. I love people. I try to work, but I think if we can start showing more of Christ, like in us, love, and just being compassionate towards people, man, I think we can change the world, bro. Yeah. And instead of being so quick to criticize, why not sympathize? Yeah. You know, I think that's what world needs, and I think that's what the church needs to do, and I believe that's what God did. I believe that's what Jesus did.
Yeah.
You know, God demonstrated his love by sending his son to die on the cross, bro.
Yeah.
Like, we have to demonstrate our love for Christ by reaching the people, by sacrificing and doing it, and you're right, bro. Like, just the team that we have, man, we definitely need to do that. But it's funny, though, because it's funny how people can be so prideful, though. And just so self-centered, though, like, and not want to do that, but be just focused on themselves, man. And it's like, it's evil.
Yeah.
It's evil. That it's just sad that we live in a place where people are like that, where they don't want to be loving and they just want to be very selfish, and maybe they do want to give love, but maybe they just don't know how either.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's where we have to come in and kind of help and teach people and show people the love of Christ, man. Yeah. And hey, real quick question. I wanted to ask you, so what got you into music, bro?
All right, shifting. You know, I think real talk with
Radtalks.
I think my dad, when he got saved, started leading worship at the church where he got saved in Mexico, and he wasn't really a musician, but he learned. My mom sings, but it wasn't like they never really like stressed that in us, like, oh, we love music, we want you guys to do music. My brother was the pioneer in when it comes to music within the family.
Okay.
My brother Henry's kind of the one who really got into it and opened the door to like music.
And he's out there, right, playing with some big people, right?
He does a lot.
Yeah,
he does a lot. I could brag, but you know, he'd probably be mad at me.
Like, why'd you brag about me?
Yeah, but you guys can look him up on social media, Rene Gonzales and whatnot. I love the guy. I think he's the talent, the biggest. You know, he's my brother, bro.
Yeah.
I'm gonna brag. I mean, if I brag, I'm gonna brag all the way. But you know, but you know, just kind of growing under him, you know, seeing him, being around him. You know, I was that little brother that like my parents would be like, you need to take your brother with you, or you know, Rene needs to go with you.
Yeah.
And so for a while, I didn't really talk about the fact that I could sing or whatnot. I don't really play a lot of instruments. I play like drums and guitar. That's what I play. That's it.
Keys a little bit, right?
No. I wish. Nope. I'm telling you, I'm not that talented, bro.
I could have sworn you played keys for us and sang. No?
No, I played guitar.
Guitar?
And sang.
Okay.
But, you know, just being around him, I never really voiced it again because I'm growing under a guy that's everybody like, oh my gosh, like, you should hear him play the keys. You should hear him sing. And so it really kind of happened once I got to maybe in a very like stepping out on my own about music, maybe like high school.
Yeah.
You know, I used to I didn't want to, I was about to put my brother Henry on blast, bro. I'm not going to do it. But I used to just, you know, kind of joke with him about stuff. I was very much into sports when I was in middle school. I played like all the sports, you know, basketball, football, soccer, track. I tried doing all of them, man. And I still love sports. The reason I stopped playing sports was because I stopped growing after like 8th grade. But all my friends kept going. Anyway, but I got to high school and I used to make, you know, kind of joke with my brother, like, oh man, you're in choir. Like, what? You know, why are you in choir, dude? You know, my brother's big. I'm like, play football, bro. Yeah. Like, but you know, I joined choir and I just, you know, when they said, hey man, like you got a lot, you know, you got talent there. You can sing. And I started developing it there, man, since high school. I went to it was a music academy within the high school. Okay. And that's when I really kind of just got into music, competing in music, and learning from him, man. And I've plateaued, right? Like I can't grow anymore, really. I don't know when it comes to as a musician. You know, vocally, I've kind of focused a bit more on that, and then leading worship, man. One day, my dad said, "Hey, you're gonna start leading worship," and I was like 19.
Thrown in the fire, huh?
Thrown in the fire, bro. I don't know if we have time for the entire story, so I didn't do it. But I was literally thrown in the fire. One of those, hey, Rene, there's nobody else to lead worship. Yeah. You know, our worship director at the time was hired at another church.
Oh, man.
And he came and told us, hey, you know, and we're kind of, you know, moving on. And we're like, all right, God bless you. And I'm just like, cool, so who's going to do it next? And my dad's like, well, it's you. Wow. And real talk, man, I mean, I would have never stepped into leading worship if not for that. Yeah. Back to you know, getting into these difficult situations, a crisis, right? Yeah. Or tension, or who's going to do it? Who's going to do it next? And it had to be me. Yeah. So I was like that, what I carried was activated by God.
Wow.
And I'll tell you this, bro, I was terrible at leading worship. I'm not saying I'm like great now or anything. Like I'm just, those first years, I was pretty stinking terrible. I played like I only knew like 4 songs on the guitar at the time. I played those same 4 songs at church for like a year. Can you imagine right now, I just, as a pastor, can you imagine your worship team playing the same 4 songs for a year and it not sounding that good? It was bad, bro. And our house, our church, we've had this characteristic that our worship's always been really good.
Yeah.
So it was like really good worship, really good worship. I came into play and it was like bad, bro. I would get stuck when I would try to talk to, during worship. I would freeze. But there's that process of growth. Yeah. You can't grow if you don't do it, if you don't start somewhere. And so now I do it, and man, one of the things I do on Sunday mornings, I lead worship at a church in Austin, and I do that as well. So Sunday I drive to Austin, I come back, and then I minister at my church. Yeah. And speaking of music, man, this is what I'm doing right now is I'm actually about to get back into music a little bit. Kind of I took a brief break to focus a bit on pastoring and growing in that area. For sure. Dedicated some more time to my kids. And now I'm going to be releasing a song very soon. Nice. Very soon. I can't necessarily, I don't want to say the date yet, but dropping a song. It's in Spanish. Okay. A lot of what I do is mainly in Spanish when it comes to music, and that should be dropping soon. So I'm kind of diving back into that, believing that there's something left. There's something left to accomplish in music, in worship.
That's awesome, bro. Yeah. What advice would you give to a young artist who's, wanting to make music, and I'm a musician and he wants to really just take this full on? What advice would you give him?
Man, it's a hard one, bro.
Woo. What would Rene Gonzales say?
I would say, 1, don't stop. Don't stop. Keep doing it. You will always see growth and improvement from as you release songs. For example, if you look back to some of these bands, some of the bigger worship artists out right now, whoever you want to think about Hillsong, right? I know they're probably not what they were at one point. They've kind of gone in a different direction, but go listen to their first albums, and you're just like, oh my gosh, that's not that. It's not that good, compare, or you compare it. I'm not saying they're not good. They're great. They're great. But guys. No, they're great. They're great. But it's like compare them to the two. There's another band in Spanish, and again, I'm friends with them. But you go back to some of their first recordings. The band is called Miel San Marcos, which is very big in Latin America. But you compare their first recordings to like what they're doing now, and it's just night and day. And we all go through that. You can't stop. Don't hesitate for fear of, I don't know if it's going to sound good enough. Just put it out, man. Yeah. Put it out. And that's something I would apply to myself, because you don't know how many songs I've kept in the chamber, just to say it like that, or I haven't released because I was so afraid that they didn't sound good, or what others would think. And it's like, dude, just release it and release it and release it. You start building your audience. Man, I could learn a lot, and so don't stop. 2, surround yourself with people who believe in you and people who will keep you grounded and will be honest with you.
What inspires you for music? Because I know a lot of musicians and people who sing, they get inspired by different things of life. What inspires you? Is it life? Is it just what you go through? Or is it maybe you're reading the Bible and that inspires you to create a song? What is it that inspires you?
People would go with the easy answer, say God, right, or something like that. But I would say, literally, I think the moment I feel the most like, let's say, artistic, right, and like, or wanting to write, is when I'm worshiping on my own. Like most of my ideas for worship stuff will come during worship. Yeah. Like we'll be in a time of worship at church, and we're just kind of like sulking, and there's just the atmosphere is there, and then I'll hear a melody or I'll think of a line, And people might think I'm talking to my phone or texting, but I'll go and I'll grab my phone, bro, and I'll hum what I'm thinking, or I'll write down the words that I have in my heart, because that line, that lyric, that melody was birthed while I was in the presence of God.
Yeah.
And that's what I want. I don't want to just write a good song. When I do worship, I want to write a song that really pulls people into His presence. And so the song I'm bringing out right now is a Christian song. It's not necessarily under the genre of like praise and worship, but it is a Christian song. And again, stepping outside a bit of my comfort zone. We will be working on some worship. Our church is doing a worship album that we're working on, and that'll be out.
Awesome.
We're releasing a song pretty soon on that as well. But it was one of those where like I decided to say, you know what, I feel like I got a little bit left to give in this area.
Right.
And so I'm going to say yes to God, because I felt like it was God saying, I'm not done with you in this. And I said yes. Like, why not? People sometimes say, I want to focus on just this, or I want to focus, on, and trust me, I'm busy right now, but I feel like if God is the one behind it, and He's saying, I'm not done with you yet, then there's purpose behind it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, man. I've always wanted to be a singer, bro. Like, I kid you not. I loved it. I love singing. I was always singing in my car.
Are you secretly a fantastic singer? Like, nobody knows it, but like...
nobody knows it, but I don't want nobody to know. So I'm going to keep singing in the shower. Just because if I start singing, bro...
You already have too many talents, bro. It's not fair.
And then I might have read the song, bro, then, bro, it's not going to work. So I'm just going to keep singing in the shower.
They're going to ask you to start singing at church and preaching.
Oh, at the same time?
I've done that. I've done that at church, where I lead the worship, and I get down for like... any like the announcement segment, and I'm back up for the word.
Yeah, I've done it where I've drummed and I've gone literally straight to here after like trying to catch my breath. I'm like, oh my gosh. But hey, it's part of the calling, man. It's just it's the yes part.
Yes.
It's the yes part.
Yeah.
And I think, but that's awesome, bro. I think we'll have to hit another session on Radtalks, bro.
Absolutely.
And I know we had more stuff to talk about, but man, I think a second session would be good.
Let's do it.
For those who are watching online, I want you to follow Rene Gonzales on Instagram, and give him a little quick follow. Amen. Go like all his posts, and just give him a little heart emoji, man.
Yeah,
support
stalk me.
So stalk him, amen. But ladies, he is taken, amen. Don't even get near him.
Yeah. I got 2 kids.
You got 2 kids.
I'm married to a beautiful woman, man. I'm good. Hey, Instagram is at Rene Abraham. You can find a lot of the updates for music on there. Facebook is just Rene Abraham Gonzales, and I'd love to connect, man. I definitely want to do another one, and we got to host you at our church soon,
bro. Yes, man.
But I love what you're doing here, man. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, definitely, bro. We'll do this again. Hey, guys, those who are online, I appreciate you online with us this whole time. Go to YouTube, subscribe, go to our Instagram, Radtalks _, and follow us and stay updated with all our updated content that's going to be coming out very soon. We love you guys, and we can't see you next time. God bless.